From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Toni-Ann.
On this week's The Disney Crush Podcast, Heidi and Missy join us to tell us all about Marathon Weekend. And Dave might sound a little bit funny. Episode 326 of the Disney Crush Podcast is starting right now. This is episode 326 of the Disney Crush Podcast. Welcome, everyone. We have special guests this episode, and I have a special co-host because Dave didn't realize that Veronica had made plans for them this weekend. He was making plans to record with us, and then he called me this morning and said, "Oh, I just found out I'm going to Disney." So I, feel really bad for him.
Yeah,
but he doesn't get to hang out with Heidi and Missy. And I was able to rustle up a very special co-host. You guys know him. You guys love him, Mr. Andy Hoffman.
It's the new and improved Dave.
I don't know about that, but
True.
Kurt Stone's third favorite listener.
True. I had a full schedule this afternoon, and I moved everything, heaven and earth, to come here today.
Your hair. You got a haircut.
That was it. That was the highlight of my day.
Andy, we do have, I said we're not going to do any news because this episode's not going to come out, I think, till January 31st, and we're recording this on January 20th. So we got a full 11 days. So any news we talk about, it's going to be really, really old. But you had a Facebook you wanted to share?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. Which one? Was it the bathroom one or the Gen Z one?
Whatever you think, Andy.
So this one just really bothered me because we don't know the whole story. And It says, we were walking back to our car at the TTC, and in the parking lot, we saw a mother with what we assumed were her two daughters, who were probably around 11 years old. And one of them had their pants pulled down, butt in the air, and they were actually peeing on a light post. To say the least, I'm in absolute disgust and shock of behavior. People, if you're parked in the handicapped section row, in the second row at Magic Kingdom, beware of puddles. My big issue with it is you don't know the backstory of the child. You don't know the
situation?
Correct.
Let me tell you, I've been there with Michael, and he's had to go, and there aren't like on the way back to the buses, there aren't that many toilets. Like when I leave Magic Kingdom, I have to take him to the first aid station. That is the only companion restroom toward the front of from the front of Magic Kingdom all the way to the buses. There's no companion restrooms. He's got to hold it till we get back to our room if I don't take him to the first aid station before we leave. So I don't, like you said, you don't know what that kid's situation was, but I maybe go behind the car so
True.
People don't see you.
That makes sense, but when you got to go, you got to go.
I guess.
Could it have been a dog? Like my kids.
But that is a real problem at Magic Kingdom. It's there's no companion restrooms toward the front of the park. You got to go back into the lands to find companion restrooms. And when I go to the first aid station, sometimes I get they're a little snarky with me, like, why are you using the first aid station? Because you don't have any companion restrooms. I got a 24-year-old man. I can't take to the ladies' room with me. So.
And they have room. They could probably make it work up towards the front of the park.
Yeah, and there's a bathroom by the buses. There's like it's kind of like a makeshift bathroom there, but it doesn't have a companion one. So I don't know. Anyway.
Then we can lead into bathroom and marathon talk, so it's perfect transition.
Oh, great. Yes, marathon talk. So Heidi and Missy are here. They were there for Marathon Weekend, and they did the 5K, and then Heidi did the marathon, right? Am I right? You guys, there was no 10K, no half, right?
Right.
So, Missy, you did a 5K. Have you done a 5K before?
Yes.
You have? Okay.
I've done races and stuff.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know what your history was with racing.
I've worked. I like sports. Have saved my life. I wouldn't have gone to college if I didn't play sports.
Wonderful.
That kind of stuff. So I love that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of just running, but I'll do it. And so yeah, it was really fun.
Well, Heidi's not a big fan of running either, but she does it. And Heidi, this was not your first Run Disney event, but this was your first marathon.
But this was my first marathon.
Yeah, that's exciting though. And so when did you guys get there?
We came in on the Tuesday before the weekend.
Right. So marathon weekend, the expo starts on Wednesday.
Right.
Most of the other race weekends, it starts on Thursday, but the marathon, you got an extra day in there. Tell me about going to the expo center. What is involved with that?
So going to the expo, it's kind of a 3-step process. I guess you could make it a 2-step process if you want to skip buying merch, but there's 3 different areas to go to. You have to go pick up your bibs in one building, stand in line to do that. And then you stand in line to pick up your race shirts. And then they have all the non-official Disney vendors in that building. And then there's a third building where they have all the official Run Disney merchandise.
Andy, you missed your big opportunity. You were planning to do Wine and Dine, right?
I did, but I came down with the flu right before we were supposed to go, that Wednesday. So I did not make it down.
So do you think you're going to do one in the future?
I really would like to do I'd probably stick to a 5 or 10K.
Okay.
Which, by the way, Missy, you rocked it doing the 5K in jeans.
I'll do the 10K in jeans.
I saw those pictures and I go to Samantha, I'm like, the center of the picture, I'm like, was Missy in jeans? Because that's just, I love it.
Thank you.
After seeing the excitement of you two doing the races and everybody else, I hear from the Wine and Dine, and for the folks that were out at Disneyland this weekend, I'm definitely, as much as I'm not a runner, I would definitely do a 5 or 10K. I know we'll get into it in a moment about the half marathon getting literally cut in half, but that would have been a dream for me if that would have happened for me. If I only had to run 6.5 miles, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
You would have got the medal and the.
Exactly.
I think that's called stolen valor, Andy.
But I suspect for people and Heidi probably commented on that, the fact that you trained to do 13 miles and maybe some of the other runners who are okay, now we're at 6. And was that frustrating at all?
Well, I
think I didn't run the half, but a lot of people either showed up early and were running around the Epcot parking lot before the race started, or stayed afterwards, or, it got canceled because of the weather. So some people waited until the weather passed, and then we saw a lot of people running around the resort to finish.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was there that day, and I saw people running around the All-Stars, and I knew that's what they were doing because I am in all the Run Disney Facebook groups, Andy.
That's good.
Heidi, have you always wanted to do a full marathon? Is that something you decided after you've done halves now, you thought to yourself, I can do this? Or was it?
Yeah, it's not something that I ever thought I could do. I always said, there's no way I'd ever be able to do that. And then when I started, starting with 5Ks and 10Ks and then halves, I'm like, well, maybe I could. And, some of the other people in the community had done it and gave me some encouragement that, as long as you train for it, that I probably could. So I went for it. I wasn't sure I was going to finish even after training, but
I was sure she would finish. I really was.
I know. So, tell us about training in Maine? Because I know, this morning you were on the treadmill. So there's a lot of, unfortunately, I know treadmill training is kind of not like real life training. It's a little different, and it doesn't fully prepare you, or does it? Are there some people that do their complete training on treadmills? I don't know.
I bet there are some people that do. We're pretty lucky in Maine so far. Leading up to that weekend, we had pretty decent weather.
Yeah, mild winter.
I mean, there were some of my really long runs, starting out in the morning, it was pretty cold. So I would start on the treadmill, and then when it warmed up a little, I'd go finish outside.
Cool.
But, the training starts in June. So, most of the time was great weather.
Andy, how's training in Minnesota?
I did my 5K this morning. I walked it, but I still, it was -4, but it was fine. The wind was not, as I passed one of my neighbors, it wasn't windy, so your face didn't hurt. So we were fine. So Missy, Heidi, when you do the races, how do you, for the people that might be interested in doing it, how do you build up your training? Do you start out, 3 miles? How do you usually do it?
I do Galloway training. So it's a run, walk, run method. And so his training plan kind of calls for building up your mileage and then having back off weeks. So like say I'm starting at 3 or 4 mile base, I'll do 3 or 4 miles, back off the next week to 2, the next week go up to 5, and kind of, go back and forth like that. And then when it gets up to the really long, like 20 plus runs, he gives you 2 weeks off in between to back off to like 6 or 7 miles in the off weeks.
I've always wanted to know, when you're going to run 20 miles around your neighborhood, how do you plot that out? Do you have an app that does that for you, or?
I'm lucky because I have a trail that is pretty much just a straight shot of flat running. It's part of what they call the Eastern Trail, which technically I could run all the way to Florida on it if I wanted to. But it's a dirt trail, so it's easier on the joints too than on pavement. So I'm pretty lucky to just do that for most of my.
You just do an up and back on that? Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. If you want to run around your neighborhood, there are apps that you could plot it out with.
Okay. Because I was trying to do that last week and I wound up taking a lot of wrong turns. I was trying to do a 5K and instead I did like 4 miles, 5 miles, but that's okay. I needed the extra exercise, so it wasn't too bad.
I think Map My Run is one that you can use to plot out your course.
Okay.
I basically use Strava, but I don't think that really has an option to plot your course out ahead of time. But,
okay. All right.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point where I kind of know my neighborhood too. And I know that, a certain loop is 3 miles and then I add on another loop that might be 2 miles, that type of thing.
So Missy, you told me a while back, you said, I'm not really a Disney person, but I keep seeing you at Disney. And now you're a Run Disney person, right?
I mean, this was a way different kind of experience. I mean, honestly, I would go to all the ones where we compete because I am the reigning champion as far as I guess my team is.
The quest for geek and glory.
The quest for geek and glory.
Oh, yes. And that is
I love competitions and fun stuff like that. So I would come to that because I love, you know what I mean? And being competitive. I don't care about I do care about the trophy, but I don't care about anything else as far as whatever. I like to have fun and be challenged. And this was a really great vacation to do something. It's different. So I experienced, we took time to find really good restaurants to eat at.
Yeah.
She did have reservations for we had 4 or 5, I don't know, a week there, and she had 17 reservations. I'm
wow.
Hello, or a lot of reservations, and we didn't eat at all the places, but the places we did, we took time, and it was more of a taking time vacation.
That's nice.
I had more options to where I was going to eat than rides I was going to go on, which is way different. Usually when I go on I get more, I get 20 Ks almost every day or whatever else on regular Disney vacations, how much I walk.
Right.
How many rides we have to do and see everything, etc. That honestly, her doing a marathon was more relaxing than any Disney vacation I've ever been on. So, and I see her at different places there too. So
totally see that. I could totally see that. Now, I have to tell you, you both post pictures from restaurants in Maine, pretty much every week. And you make me so jealous because I live in the frozen tundra of good food. Restaurants in my area are awful. And you guys post some amazing food pictures. So you're not at a loss for good food at home. So what kind of food at Disney gets you guys excited? Because you can eat good food right where you are, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I forgot the name of the places, but in Disney Spring, there's this chicken place that's really excellent. Homecoming, and just it is different. There is a lot there, etc. And when you're at Disney and you're in the different, what's the place that has a baseline?
Baseline tapas.
Tapas, yeah.
Charcuterie is incredible. And
it's pretty good, and it's a good deal too.
And it's a great deal, and I like that. It's just I look forward to that and trying new things, and I try it more when I go on a vacation or whatever else.
We have a lot of southern restaurants, so we don't
get southern food in Maine.
I love my chickens, and I won't eat any of their eggs or whatever else. I own chickens, and then my babies. but I eat chicken every day. So I will have chicken later on.
So what restaurants or sit down did you eat at on this trip?
We went to Woody's, the Roundup barbecue for the first time.
Yep.
How was it? Because I know a lot of us who went at TDC, we did not have the best experience.
But it had just opened.
Very true.
The experience was pretty good, but we were in and out in maybe a little over an hour. So it wasn't like
That's
a 3-hour ordeal like you guys had. I got the plant-based plate and Missy got the meat plate, and because I eat some meats, but I don't eat a ton. So, but doing it both ways, we got to share. So that was good.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was cool.
Yeah, I heard they took the fried pickles off the menu, Andy, and Heidi. Yeah, but Heidi made a confession.
I don't really like fried pickles.
I'm just here.
Really like fried, but she likes pickles, but not fried pickles.
So Laura Nothnagel won't be able to smuggle ranch dressing in anymore.
No, she won't need to bring her own ranch anymore.
There it is.
So, do you do your dining different since you're probably eating earlier and maybe eating differently before you're doing your races? Did that affect it at all?
Yeah, all of our reservations for dinner were like 5:00 or earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was really different. I mean, it was more of a vacation, which I needed it to be this way because it was more restful vacation.
Good.
And my work has been sort of intense, and as far as because I work with people who have difficulties with substance issues,
right?
And to be able to have like a chill Disney vacation and then go on a cruise, it was pretty awesome. You know, where it's like we got plenty of rest, and you got plenty of rest. I did get up sometimes early, so you know.
So tell us about the getting up early. What is the you guys were at the Poly, right?
We were, yeah.
Now I see. So I didn't realize that the monorail ran that early for the race. I thought everybody had to take buses, but I saw pictures of you at the monorail.
Yeah, they don't do it for the 5K or the 10K, but they do have it for the half and the full.
Okay, so you'd take buses for the 5K. And
yes.
Okay. How early do you get up, and tell us what your process is race morning?
I usually wake up around 1:30, somewhere around there. Get ready. I usually have my costumes and everything laid out the night before, so I'm ready to go. But I'd like to have the extra time just to double check and make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I've heard horror stories about people getting there and they left their bib in the room.
Oh my goodness.
Go back and get it, and then they're late. So don't want that to happen. So, and then I try to be on, if it's a bus, I try to be on the first bus out, which usually starts 2:30-ish. And the races don't start until 5. So it's a lot of waiting around once you get there.
Is that true for all races, or is that unique to Disney races? When you go to other races, I know you race locally too. Mm-hmm. Is there always waiting around? Is that just a given? Not
that long. There's some, there's a little bit, but local races, I feel comfortable getting there, maybe 45 minutes early, whereas here you have to get there 2 hours early. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And I understand with the races, you have, like, if you have anything that you bring with you, there's a place to check it in, and what do they give you? They give you a clear bag, right? Is that
Yeah, and you put your bib number on it, and they give you a little sticker to put on the back of your bib so that you can identify it when you get back.
What kind of stuff do you bring with you? Do you bring stuff with you, or?
I bring my beer cup.
Yes, because there's beer refills, right?
Yeah,
at the beer tent.
Not free, but it's a reduced
price, right?
You buy the cup, and then you can get reduced price refills. So
I hear the pineapple cider is very popular with our group.
It is. It's not my favorite. I like it. It's not my favorite, though. I'm more of a beer girl. Okay. Pineapple cider is very good.
Okay. Andy, you said you were starting to ask something?
All right, Heidi, I got to know what goes into because I think they all look great. What goes into your costume planning? And for somebody like me who does very little running, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. Is it comfortable running in the costumes?
At varying degrees. For the marathon, I just wore a dress that was made out of like running material, and then under it just had running leggings on. So it wasn't all that involved, and it was pretty comfortable. But for some of the shorter races, I might go a little bit more detailed with, tutus and things that might be a little less comfortable.
Do you test them before you do it, right? You run
Absolutely.
you run at home in a tutu and people look at you like you're crazy?
I have, we have a weekly park run that runs on that trail that I do most of my training on. So, there's been days that I've showed up at park run wearing costumes. People look at me a little funny, but I'm just testing stuff out.
That's right. That's what you got to do.
They love it. Who cares?
So Missy, how much, when she was doing the marathon, I know our friends like to go and cheer and watch people. What did you do? Were you there the whole time or did you sleep in?
Oh, I was there the whole time. Are you kidding me?
Good.
Yeah, no, I went with her in the morning and, we hung out a little bit because there's music going the whole time and comedians and there's opportunities to meet different characters and stuff. Whether it's the old-fashioned Mickey Mouse, I forgot his name. What is Oswald, and Dopey was there for the marathon or whatever else.
Yeah.
She signed me up for a friend, there was a group of people there. It ended up only being like 3 or 4 people, but that were cheering. So I met them after she went to her corral, and we had held signs for people who were ready to go on different level. They were a little faster than H was, the different levels of running, reach, and that kind of stuff. And so it was busy the whole time and not boring. Yeah.
That's good.
I love and the coffee was excellent.
Oh, really? That's good to know.
It was, and I was very happy with it.
So Heidi, go ahead. What were you saying?
You did some volunteering.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes, I did volunteer
She
for
volunteered.
the 10K. I volunteered and passed out medals. So that was a new experience for me.
So I understand you actually had to get there even earlier for that, to volunteer?
Yeah, you have to be there by 2:30 for that. And the buses, start running at 2:30 if you're lucky. So the buses aren't running in time. So I had to take a lift over to do that.
Does a lift know where to bring you when you do that kind of stuff?
Kind of. They dropped me off at the regular ride share area at Epcot. So it was a little bit of a walk to get where I needed to go, but I made it.
And how did you get involved in that?
I don't remember exactly who mentioned it, but someone had mentioned on one of the online communities that they were volunteering. And so I looked it up and, it's pretty easy to sign up for. You just go on the Run Disney site and there's a link that says volunteer and you can choose what activity you want to do. As long as there's still spots open. So I chose to pass out medals, but you could work at the water stops or, there's different areas you could help out with.
And it is, I do want to tell people, it is a big time commitment because you have to get there before the race starts and you're there until the bitter end, especially if you're giving out medals, right? So
you're there until the very last person comes in. So
just be aware of that. But that's really neat though. I mean, I don't know if I want to get up at 2:00 in the morning.
And we had to take all the medals. They all came packed in boxes. So we had to take them all out of boxes and put them in bins and set up the tables and that type of thing.
Okay.
How was it running through? Because Toni-Ann kind of mentioned it when she was kind of stuck in one. But how was it running through Epcot with guests in the park? Was that good, bad, fun?
It was amazing because from the time even before Epcot, all the way through the boardwalk area, there were so many people cheering that I teared up when I entered Epcot. There were so many people and. People that I didn't even know, they'll read your bib and say your name, go Heidi. And I just kind of started tearing up at that point. But yeah, it was great. I guess as a guest, you notice the runners there.
Yeah. The runners are not impeded. The guests are held back, but they do make, which as it should be. I mean, the runners are a little bit more important on that day than the rest of us, but yeah, it was really neat watching. And I'm sure that, I know Heidi watched last year when Tori was running, and I know Missy was a spectator this year. It's really emotional as a spectator, isn't it? I can't even explain it to people that people you don't even know, you start crying for them.
That's really what kind of sealed it for me as far as making me want to do the marathon is when I watched it last year. Yeah. And it's very emotional.
Well, it's well done and it's seamless and it's very, and it is everybody cheers for you. And then after the race, when you're on the buses or whatever else, they sit there and say things to you or whatever else, like good job. And it's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
How do the Disney races compare to like some of the other races you do around Maine and other parts?
Well, no other races have character stops. So that's a big difference. And, there's so much entertainment on the course, whether it's characters or DJs or.
It's like an opportunity to ride a ride quick, like, or something.
Which I didn't get to do. My goal, I really wanted to try to ride Everest during the marathon, but by the time I got there, they were saying no more runners. So I didn't get to.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it gives me a goal for next year to be just a little bit faster to get to Animal Kingdom in time.
So do you see yourself doing another marathon with Disney?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Dopey for next year.
That would be really dopey.
For the people that don't know, what is the Dopey Challenge?
So the Dopey Challenge is 4 races in 4 days. It's the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, and the full marathon.
And what is the Goofy? Just the 3 without the 5K? Is that? Do they still do the Goofy?
Is the half and the full.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the Dopey, that's what, 48 miles?
40.
I don't know.
48 point something. Yeah, there's all kinds of shirts and pins and stuff that have a number on it, so I should know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heidi, I know that I saw you at Princess last year, and you did the 5K and the 10K and the half, and you went to the parks every day after that. Did you go to the parks after the full marathon?
I did for a little while, yes. Right, I didn't even go back to the resort afterwards because in the middle of the marathon at 7 a.m., I pulled over and got a virtual queue for Guardians.
Yeah.
So when the race was over, we were already late getting to it. So we're like, well, we'll just go into Epcot and do this real quick before we go back to the resort. So we did that and then went back to the resort, rested a little bit, went to the hot tub at the pool, and then went to Magic Kingdom that night just for dinner.
That is one thing that's unique to a Disney race, right? That's not unusual to see at 7:00. A lot of people pull over to the side, right?
Yes.
From what I understand.
I actually heard somebody else's alarm go off on their phone, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about running backstage and on the highways at Disney. What is that? Have you seen anything interesting? Or did you have any interesting experiences?
I mean, it's always interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a couple of the backstage tours, and they don't let you take pictures or anything, but you're free to take pictures during the race. So
we saw a rhinoceros during it. I forgot his name.
Really?
Oh, it was after the race. Sorry.
That was during a tour.
It was like one of the things on that trip.
Yeah. Oh, you went on the rhino tour?
Yeah.
I've been trying to get that. I can't get that. It's really hard to book.
But they did see a goat during the race.
During the race?
Yeah, as you were entering Animal Kingdom, they had some cast members out with some of the goats, and you could stop and get your picture with them.
Aww.
Fun.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yes, the goat. Exactly. So what does your recovery look like? Now, it is important to walk after you eat. We were joking about doing the parks fully, but it is important to walk after you run, right? So what else do you have to do when you're trying to recover?
Yeah, and I think that probably helped me a lot because I thought that I was going to be like not even able to walk the next day, but I did pretty good. So I think walking a little bit in the parks afterwards helped me. I also did a cold water bath when I got back to the room.
She did excessive karaoke on the cruise. Like karaoke is a part of it.
Well, that's it. You guys went on a cruise after that, right? So
the day after, yeah.
The very next day?
Yes. Yeah.
What cruise line was it?
It was Carnival. 4-day Bahamas cruise.
Had either one of you been on a cruise before?
A million.
Yes.
Okay. Have you done
cruisers.
Disney cruises?
No, I have not done a Disney cruise. Maybe someday.
We'll do that.
They're like 3 times the cost of
Yeah.
They are.
And where'd you stop on the cruise, and what some of the good food you had on the cruise ship?
We stopped at Nassau, Bahamas, and Bimini, Bahamas.
Okay. How was the weather?
It was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little chilly on our Bimini day, which was a beach day, but we still made the best of it. A little bit of rain one of the days, but better than Maine.
Yeah, way better. It was fun.
Is the food on Carnival good?
I mean, I would say it's okay.
It's okay.
Heidi's making a face. like maybe it's not.
There were some good things, but
Like when you go to the like different places, like the burrito place or whatever, you're all right. But some of the other ones, the dining, nah.
the main dining room.
The dining room's kind of like wedding. Is it like wedding food?
Yeah, I think Carnival's kind of gone downhill. This is my first Carnival cruise since COVID, and I think they've cut corners.
Okay.
I mean, do they do like the sit-down dining, like the different theming restaurants like the Disney's do, or is that unique to Disney?
They have the main dining room. There's no real theming to it.
Okay.
Well, so what's next? What are you guys doing? What are you running again? What are you doing next? You said you're gonna do Dopey next year.
That's the plan. If I can get into it, all these races are really
That's the other thing.
into, but that's the plan. I'm going to Princess. I'm doing the 10K and the half at Princess weekend, and volunteering for the 5K.
Nice.
I'm doing the 10 miler at Springtime Surprise.
And she runs all summer and all that junk.
Yeah.
Some local races I'm doing as well.
So that's something we didn't speak about was registering for these Disney these Run Disney events. It's like trying to get like, I don't know, it's Taylor Swift tickets.
Right. Some people have like multiple devices open, ready to go, and you have to wait on and then have some luck getting in.
Yeah. And it does add up too. It's not, all these races are hundreds of dollars each. And so it adds up.
It does.
We have some friends that do all of them, and good for them.
And they got coupons. It's all right.
They got coupons. I wish.
Some point later.
I wish they had coupons. Missy, would you run Disney again, or you like doing the races at home?
I'll probably do a 10K next time because
cool.
I'd like to do a little bit
further distance,
a little different. Yeah, so I'll probably do that next year.
Very cool.
Not one of them, but we'll see.
We're going to Disneyland in September if we can get into it for the Disneyland race.
The Halloween one.
Oh yeah, I'll probably do a 10K there.
When is that one? When in September is that?
It's I think the weekend after Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
And it's Halloween themed.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
My best friend lives in Los Angeles, so I'm psyched to do that too. To bring him.
Andy, when are you guys going in September?
I think it's right around the last weekend in September. Okay. Right. I should know the dates, but I don't.
That's when I'll be in Walt Disney World with my friend Kevin Curtis Allen.
Ooh.
I heard he's nice.
He's very nice.
He's all right.
He's all right. Just say his name at least once today, or else I'd get in trouble, especially since Andy's here.
But I miss you, Andy.
I miss you too. When you get, I like your sweatshirt again. Thank you. I like your Bruins hat.
Thank you. It's actually a mainstay one, but it's okay.
That's better.
Are you doing good, guys?
We are.
Good.
Just enjoying the cold weather. I want to see Toni-Ann down at Disney next weekend. It's supposed to be like 85 on Saturday. So
yeah,
nice.
I'm excited. When are you two going again?
I'm going for Princess weekend next month.
32 days with Holly. She's going because Holly just posted it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But you don't have anything.
I'll see you whenever I see you.
Sounds good.
Come to me.
She'll see us when she sees us.
Should come to me.
And you'll have a good time.
And we'll have better lobster than whatever that is they serve at Columbia Harbor House.
We'll have very good food, I promise.
Yeah, I got to get to some of those restaurants that they go to. They post every weekend these amazing pictures of restaurants.
It looks so good. I'm jealous.
They play trivia and do karaoke, and there's nothing like that around here.
Yeah, we do all right.
Terrible.
We have a good time.
Yeah.
So I get sunshine and they get cool stuff. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Heidi and Missy. That was a slip. Heidi, my favorite Drew sister. And Missy.
She brings the other ones to when I'm not around.
Oh, absolutely.
Her favorite
girlfriend. You better be her favorite girlfriend. And
know that she has other ones that go on different trips. It's okay. I'm not fooled by any of that. It just gives me a break.
Gives you a break. We love you all. Thank you to Heidi, I almost said it again, and Missy and Andy, thank you so much for coming in the clutch and being my special co-host this afternoon. And thank you to everybody for listening. And thank you to Dave for editing this nightmare. I'm sure it's going to be for him. Thank you to Kevin for letting this go off without a hitch. Episode 326 of the Disney Crush podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. All right, bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
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 I think that's it. All right.